What if I told you that deep within the Ozark Mountains, that there is a place that was once known as the Dream Town? So I drove down to Ravenden Springs, where Dreamtown once lived. Standing there today, it's hard to believe this quiet little valley was one of Arkansas's earliest healing resorts. The forest has wrapped itself around the hills again, as though nature has been patiently gathering the town back into itself. If you didn't know the story, you might never realize anything extraordinary had happened here. But every place remembers. And this one remembers a dream. According to a local history, the story begins in 1880 with a Methodist minister named Reverend William Bailey. For years he had suffered from severe stomach problems. Then, one night, he dreamed of a spring hidden deep inside Halls Creek's canyon. In the dream, he climbed down through the rocks, drank from the cold, clear water, and found himself healed. The dream returned the next night, then again the night after that. 3 nights in a row, the same spring, the same promise. Finally, he followed the dream into the canyon. He searched until he found a spring that looked just as it had in his sleep. He drank from the water, and according to the story, his illness disappeared. Whether you believe it was the minerals, coincidence, faith, or something we still don't fully understand, that single story rippled across Arkansas and beyond. Some came from the neighboring towns. Others traveled from St. Louis. Some even came all the way from Chicago, making the long journey into this secluded Ozark Valley because someone they trusted told them there was a place where the water itself seemed alive. Before long, the settlement became known as Dreamtown. What a beautiful name. Not Healing Springs, not Mineral Resort, but Dreamtown. As though the people who named it understood that healing often begins long before the body changes. It begins with hope. It begins with imagination. It begins with believing tomorrow might be different than today. In 1883, a 40-room Southern hotel was built overlooking Halls Creek Canyon, welcoming visitors who came to rest, breathe the cool mountain air, and drink from the springs. At a time when much of the Mississippi Delta battled heat, mosquitoes, and malaria, this higher valley offered something that felt almost miraculous. The air was cold, the forests were deep, and the water, well, it never stopped flowing. Local tradition tells of 5 different springs, each believed to offer its own gift. One was said to soothe stomach ailments. Another was believed to help the eyes. Others were associated with arthritis, the kidneys, and even the heart. Whether those stories were medicine or mythology almost doesn't matter. Hope has always been one of humanity's oldest medicines. The springs weren't the only curiosity hidden in these hills. Just up the canyon was School Cave, where local children were once taught beneath the shelter of stone. Another reminder that this valley held far more stories than most people realize. Then, as so often happens, time changed the story. People began traveling elsewhere, the hotels disappeared, the visitors slowly stopped coming, the buildings faded, and the forest quietly folded Dreamtown back into the landscape from which it had been born. Today you can still walk down beside the old church and find the spring flowing faithfully as it always has, cold, clear, and patient. I'm Angelia, the Ozark Mystic, an Arkansas native folk medicine woman, and a storyteller. If you love uncovering the forgotten history, folklore, and hidden mysteries of Arkansas or the Ozarks, join me every Thursday at 7 inside Keepers of the Dream Time, where we wander even deeper into stories.